Hey, Bold Thinkers, it's Kanisha from boldlivingtoday.com, and welcome to our final interview of nine interviews that we've done for National Women's Health Week. I'm super excited. Happy Saturday, happy weekend. I hope you all are relaxing today as much as possible, taking it easy on yourselves, and pretty much doing nothing. I've had a very relaxing day. I had like a spa experience that I created for myself with some stuff from Bliss Beauty Center. We got a chance to talk to Tiffany Lehman earlier this week on Thursday to be exact, and I took some of her tips and I rewatched yesterday's broadcast and did the meditation guided by Margie, and she was from Soul Healing Studio, and did a little artwork and coloring, thinking about my conversation with Jennifer Price Davis, the artist that we talked to on Tuesday. So today I want to bring on a phenomenal woman to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is productivity. So I am going to bring her on and say a little bit about why, we're going to talk about productivity, why it's the last interview, and hopefully you'll have some questions or comments. And if you don't have some in the live broadcast, you can always connect with me and our guest tonight. So let me invite her on so that we can have a fun conversation. Light and fun on a Saturday, but about productivity. Hello, hello.
Hello, Kanisha. How are you?
I'm good. Look at you looking all gorgeous. Happy Saturday.
You same to you. What is going on in the beautiful state of yeah.
Well, it's just been a really relaxing day, as I was saying earlier, and I'm super thrilled to talk to you for a variety of reasons, which we will reveal to the people as we go. But I was super excited to have your interview be toward the end of the National Women's Health Week series, because even though we've been talking about creativity and wellness and beauty and relaxation and fashion and things like that, people still need to get some stuff done, but we need to do it in a way that takes care of us and decreases overwhelm. So you coming to us and talking about productivity, which I'm completely obsessed with, is going to be absolutely fun. So tell us who you are and what you do.
Hello, I'm Jemina Harris, and I'm the owner and operator of Virtually Talented LLC. And basically, my business is a virtual assistant business. So I offer business support services to professionals, creatives, trying to help them maximize their business potential by minimizing that sort of day-to-day work that they could be spending more time doing the stuff that they love rather than, managing the stuff that they have to.
Yes. I like to call that the managing the stuff that they have to, the administrivia. A lot of us need help with the administrivia. I just want to tell everybody before we get going, full disclosure, uh, Jemina is my virtual assistant. We work together, so she's been helping me do bold things. So this will be really nice, and I'll be, even though I coach people also on productivity, I am very clear and aware of areas where I have my productivity pitfalls, and so that's why it was really important for me to get a high functioning assistant. So we'll be talking about that and getting into some of the things that Jemina knows to help all of us to kind of manage it all. So tell us, what's a virtual assistant? What do they do?
So virtual assistants is something that's been trending for a while. I think it's a service that everybody needs, but not many people know how to ask for it. So in terms of how I think about virtual assistants, they are people who help you do your thing in terms of your business. So if you're an author, they can help, proofread things. They're basically a business enhancer for the business owner. So they help them to be more creative, be more productive. They can be someone that you can run ideas by to vet them, or they could be the person that cleans out those 10,000 emails that you have in your email, haven't gotten a chance to do. So basically, a virtual assistant is what you make them. It just depends on your business and what you need the person to do for you. So I have a variety. My client list is varied,
Yeah.
to say the. I do a lot of social media content management. I do some research. I've done some vetting of some other avenues for them to be productive in. So it really varies on what you need a virtual assistant for.
So I know you said that it varies on what you need it for. So I'm thinking about the people who have been tuning in. So I know you mentioned creatives, authors, in my case, coaches, consultants. like that. What about if I'm not like an entrepreneur? Could I have a virtual assistant? Like, what would I do with a virtual assistant? I'm a woman, I'm powerful, I have my regular job, or I'm a stay-at-home mom. Like, would I use a virtual assistant?
You could potentially use it. It just depends. Typically, people use them for their businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And personal assistants are more of those. You can touch them. You can put your hands on them. Hey, go run these errands for me. But I think in this bold new virtual world that we're all trying to acclimate to, virtual assistants can be that person to maybe. Hey, I'm not really good at math. I'm gonna hire an assistant to help my kids. You may need a tutor. You may need someone to kind of help them figure this thing out. So it really, really varies. So I encourage everybody who's home, who is wanting to start their own business, who wants to kind of figure it out, to look into maybe having somebody help them figure that part out.
Yeah.
Stay at home mom. Sometimes the day to day with getting locked down and having to homeschool. No, that has not been a good look for a lot of people. So it's okay to say, listen, does anybody know somebody that can maybe read to my kids? I'm not really good at that. Or maybe help me, manage them while I have to get some other stuff done in terms virtually, reading
Yeah.
stories, helping them with their schoolwork, those types of things.
I love that you say that. Like, we're all navigating this, new bold world. It's changing day to day, week to week. And so it is a really prime time for people to kind of reassess how they're doing things. And if you're trying to do things in the way you were doing them before we went into quarantine or lockdown or shelter in place, whatever you're calling it, if you're still trying to do things the exact same way, it might be time to reconsider. So, if I'm trying to reconsider and I'm trying to be bolder, I'm trying to put my wellness, top of mind, prioritize, what I can do, especially if my energy is low. Like, I can't go for 12 hours now. I can probably only go for 8 because, we're mentally exhausted from navigating the pandemic. How does a person know, or when does a person know that they would need a virtual assistant?
So this alone time or time at home to kind of reevaluate yourself, which is I hope is what people have been able to do while they've been, mitigating this new normal. You need a virtual assistant when the day-to-day things have become too much, like answering your emails, returning phone calls. And if you're starting to get bogged down with those things that are important to you and who you are as a business owner, who you are as a productive person in your life, then that's when you need to maybe consider getting somebody on board to help you. And I think a lot of times there are misconceptions about virtual assistants. People think that there has to be this contractual obligation of, I'm going to be tied down to this person for a year. You may just need somebody to come in and give a good look at your stuff. And you may not need them every day. You may need them for, you're revamping your business. You're wanting to launch your business. And so you kind of need somebody to look at your stuff to kind of help you figure it out. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. And I think a lot of times we don't do that because we're like, if I ask somebody to assist me with something, it means I'm not doing a good job at it. And that's absolutely not the case. You could probably be doing a better job at it if you just ask somebody for help.
I love that you say that because, I'm always talking to my clients, especially when they decide they want to hire a coach, some support around their business, some support around, their parenting, specifically around teens and things like that. And it's like, I really thought I had it together, but now I'm realizing that I need help. And for some people, they look at that as a deficit. But, as you're pointing out, sometimes the help might be long term, sometimes it might be short term, it might be for a specific project and something like that. And, I'm always thinking about people's productivity in the way that you have a productivity profile. So we should be aligning things based on your strengths and your skill sets. And then where there are areas that you're not as strong in, not a deficit or negative, you're just not strong in those areas. That's when we build your bold team, your bold entourage, so that you don't have to struggle in those areas because, we get no badges or we don't get any awards or medals for struggling. So when you think about somebody asking for help and finally deciding I need and deserve this support from a virtual assistant, do you see or have you seen, or, I know you have your whole network of other virtual assistants. Do you all talk about the value added or the wellness benefits of having someone to help in this capacity?
We do, because all of the virtual assistants I know, shout out to any of them that are watching, are super busy as well. And
Yeah.
so I think that caregiving part of wanting to take care of everybody else, sometimes as women, puts us at a deficit because we're doing too much. And it's okay
Yeah.
to not decide, today's the day I'm not going to do too much. Today's the day I'm going to ask somebody for help. And so we talk about, I have one lady that I talk to, we talk about some of the things that we kind of help our clients with, some of the things that we feel more comfortable with, and we network and we look at different training programs that may help us step up our game so we can be more productive. Because when people think about paying somebody for a service, they want to get their money's worth, especially when they're, budgeting this part of money that I'm paying somebody for. So it's really important that, when you are trying to figure out if you need somebody to help you with your productivity, as you say, you need to know what you want. You need to know what you need. So that requires that you sit down and really think about, what do I need help with? How am I going to use this person?
Yeah. So, just a slight sidebar. I love how you said you need to think about what you need. And I know when I'm working with my clients, sometimes it's like, I need everything. I need an overhaul. Everything's a mess. And I'm like, no, that's not necessarily true. And, I have a system or I have a protocol to go to help them do an assessment. And I know when you and I were onboarding with each other, and I won't say that Jemina was just onboarding with me, I was onboarding with her too. It goes both ways, I think, for a strong partnership. Because I'm a productivity strategist and I know myself and my productivity, I had a better sense of my productivity profile. I knew where I wanted to have additional help. I couldn't see all the areas, because that was a discussion piece. But if someone is thinking they need someone like you, which, all of us could use an assistant in some area of our life. I just believe that wholeheartedly. But if I'm thinking I need someone in your capacity, how would I know what I needed? Especially if I'm like frazzled, overwhelmed, inbox filled to the brim, just, willy-nilly crazy.
So it requires a lot of introspection.
Okay.
You have that hard conversation with yourself and say, what am I doing here? What do you have to look at your goals.
Yeah.
How would a virtual assistant help to amplify your quality of life? And that's what it's about. Because if you're working, 60 hours a week, you're sun up, sun down, and you're doing all of this work, and at the end of the day, you're agitated, you're stressed out, you're overwhelmed. That's not a good quality of life for anybody. So you have to really take a good look at yourself and say, I'm almost to the point where I might need a virtual assistant. Okay? So the reality of things. So you have to really look at what you want and what you need and how you can use a virtual assistant. And it requires just really knowing yourself, knowing what you want, knowing what your brand is, how you want to present that to people. And nobody wants to be putting out a janky product, right?
No jankiness. That's not bold. We don't do janky. We don't do janky.
They need somebody to put a fresh set of eyes that's detached from the situation and say, hey, I've been looking at you, I've been following you, this is how I can help you. And so I'm glad you said that it was sort of like we were onboarding each other, because not all partnerships work.
Yes.
You have to also I would encourage anybody to do a productivity profile for themselves. And if they're looking to hire a virtual assistant, have them do one too, because you need to look at what are the qualities that are going to amplify and help me be better. You don't just necessarily want a yes man that everything they send you is like the most precious, beautiful thing. And oh my God, I've never seen anything better. And then you put it out and people are like,
what's this?
That's no good. So you need somebody that really enhances who you are. And in order to do that, you have to know who you are and what you need.
And I want to just go back and emphasize, like when we're both talking about, janky, we're not saying everything has to be perfect, but sometimes when you're just managing and you're just, you're making it through the finish line and getting things done, you're exhausted. Sometimes it will come out janky if you don't have that additional support or another set of eyes to look at it. So I totally believe in that. One thing I want to go back and say, some people are probably going to like productivity profile. What are they talking about? I have a productivity profile assessment quiz that you can take, and just see where you are and then figure that out. So that's the first place to start. There's tons of other ones online that you can look at too, but you don't have to go out and pay for something to find out your productivity profile. There's a lot of information that's already out there. You can reach out to me. You could just do a Google search and find out what it is if you are wondering what your productivity profile is. And I think it's super important to know. And the other piece, sidebar from just getting an assistant, those of us who are in parenting roles or caregiving roles or mentorship roles, especially for teens, I think it's really important for them seeing us work with other people, have strong collaborations, ask for help, them seeing that and understanding that. So a lot of times when we're trying to show like, this is adulting, you can do everything yourself, I just think that sends the wrong message for our young people. It's too much, and we're not doing everything by ourselves. And if we are, we're exhausted. It's too
Yes.
much. Okay. So I know you said that, well, let me go back. So, not asking for help. I was just saying how we should model how to ask for help. So, not asking for help can be super detrimental to our overall well being, quality of life, as you have mentioned. So, when you're helping people navigate that, when you're helping them stay on track, when you're helping me coordinate this whole interview series and getting people scheduled and getting graphics done and all of that, it makes it busy for you too. How do you support yourself and your overall well-being while supporting other people?
So I will let all the viewers in on the secret. All right. I have not always been good at that. I have always been the superwoman. I don't need help. I can do it by myself. I'm not going to ask anybody to help me. If they see me working hard, they need to know how to help me, right? And so we have to start asking for help. So I do that. I'm like, listen, let's figure out what we're going to do for dinner this week. Let's figure out who's going to manage the kids while I'm, they're upstairs with their daddy right now while I'm having this interview with you, because I'm like, I will not be interrupted. The people that support you in what you're doing have to also carry some of the burdens, some of the loads. So you have to be able to ask people to help you. And I've done that with, managing my kids. My youngest two are 10 months apart, and that's like having twins. It's like sometimes you just got to say, this is what I need you to do. If you can't figure out what it is you can help me with, I'll tell you. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And it's not really being bossy, because it helps for a happier home life. Again, everybody, we're all in this together. And though I'm in Georgia, and we've opened up a bit, we're still in it together. We've still been sheltering in place. So it gets crowded, and you still have to get work done. You still have to kind of tell people, this is how you can help me. This is how you can support me. And what can I do to support you?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with being bossy either. So, but that's just me. I don't know. Jemina and I have funny talk. I'm like, I know I'm a tough boss, but I really care. I know that about myself. What's that?
Thank you. It makes me level up.
Okay. So what if someone's listening to us, or they've been doing their research or whatever, and they're like, I want a virtual assistant, but I don't think I can afford one. Like, it's not a good time, or how will I justify this cost, this expense when I talk to my husband, partner, spouse about it? Like, what should they consider?
They should consider, again, what do they really need a virtual assistant? Right. Do you really need another person to come in and kind of manage your stuff? Mm-hmm. And if that is the answer to that is not a resounding yes, this is the answer to my prayers, and you may not be there yet. And so you may not be ready to justify that expense. So some things that you can do for yourself is to basically look at your schedule, look at your time. How are you spending your time doing? How are you, categorizing things that are important to you for you to get things done? The other part of it is, at some point, you just have to go for it. That need a virtual assistant. I remember when I was trying to launch my business and not really launch it, I had people that were saying, well, that's not really what you need to be doing. Like, that's not what you went to school for. That's not what your thing is. And I'm like, don't ask other people. If you think you're a virtual assistant, figure it out for yourself. Manage your time. Look and see if you really need one, and then go for it. Mm-hmm. Go for it. When you're looking for somebody that's going to provide you that service, go ahead and know what your budget is, so you can have that honest conversation with them, saying, hey, this is what I need, but this is what I can afford. And again, that may not be a good partnership for that person, but there are people that will work with you in terms of your budget, especially if they know you're just kind of like on the fence. I don't really need one, and how am I going to spend my money? So I would really encourage people to, again, do you really need a virtual assistant, or are you not doing a really good job of managing your time day to day? And it's hard. It's hard when we're trying to figure it all out, but sometimes you have to sit down and write your stuff down.
Yeah. And I love how you said earlier, like, if you're thinking about hiring a virtual assistant, you don't have to have them forever. It can just be for something temporary, or, a certain set of contracted time. Is there, like, in virtual assistant world, is there a sliding scale of a rate that you can negotiate typically, depending?
You can. So all virtual assistants are not created equal.
No, they are not.
I had to put that little plug out there. You get what you pay for, but everybody's trying to figure it out and make it. And no, I don't think anybody's really trying to break the bank on that. Mm-hmm. So it depends on what you want. Some people offer a la carte services. Some people have a minimum. This is my monthly amount. This is the amount of hours that you can hire me for. But I work with my clients based on what they need from me. And so we sort of figure out that rate together. We kind of come to an agreement about what it is I can do for you and how much time you need me to work, you know? And so it varies depending on whether or not they're going to be doing social media content management. Are they going to be actually coming up with the content, or are they just posting stuff for you? So it just really depends, but there is a sliding scale.
Okay, so that's good to know. So don't just count it out. Like you're like, oh, that's just already out of budget. You don't even know yet. Do a little research, ask some questions. So I think that's super important for people to know. And I would say that too for a lot of like the creatives that are in business that I work with. We're doing brainstorming sessions. They want to bring something, like create something, but they also have a regular full-time job. And this other thing we're doing is sort of like their side hustle or whatnot, or they're trying to grow it so they can take it full time. And I said, well, do you want to be managing the $10 an hour task, or do you want to be managing the $100 and up task? If you don't want to be doing the $10 an hour task, get an assistant. Yeah, get somebody to help with those pieces. Say it one more time. Oh, no. I'm talking about for yourself as a person. You're absolutely right. It doesn't mean that the virtual assistant will be paid $10 an hour. We're not trying to do bad wages here.
Oh, no. And again, you have to look at the quality of a person that you want.
Yes.
Again, that people you can have a conversation. Hey, I can only afford this a month. Is that something you can work with? And it's a yes or no, or let me figure it out type of thing. And I think a lot of times people just say, oh, this is just like an administrative person. They're just like typing and doing stuff like that. I think it's a relationship, and it's very difficult. And that's the other piece of virtual assistants with this bold virtual world that we're living in now, is that you're giving people access to your stuff. And so you have to have some level of trust that this person's going to be professional. They're going to, help enhance your business and not do anything to bring, bad karma, detriment on it. So you have to trust this person to give them your password for your account, or access to your email, and to understand that. So there's a bit of trust that comes with it. Virtual assistant services are also outsourced. So you could, go on a website and find someone that's in a different country that is working and is doing that. But what type of relationship do you want for the person that's supporting the business? Supporting what it is you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Did you ever see that movie, Where Did You Go, Bernadette? I want to say it came out like in the last summer or something. And that Kate Blanchett it's a book. And the character, I'm not going to spoil anything if you haven't seen it yet. I think it's funny, that movie. But she gets a virtual assistant, and she doesn't quite vet the virtual assistant. So I think that's a good cautionary tale, like what you just said about, how you're working with the person, the trusting relationship. And so that movie kind of shows you how you should be vetting people.
Yeah, please vet, please vet the person.
I mean, one of the things I would say, if you are looking for a virtual assistant, and I'm skipping ahead just because the vetting piece, I think referrals are the best way to go. It's just like when you ask about a dentist, no one's going to refer a bad dentist.
No.
Yeah. So, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so like if I'm looking for a virtual assistant, like what would you say, like the top 3 to 5 things I should consider or start looking for to vet the virtual assistant?
So I would say referrals. With the exception of the last 4 clients that I picked up, all of my clients have been referrals through Miss JD Mason. I see she's watching. Hey, JD. But I've
Jackie.
Got referrals from her. So that's been good, because at least with that, and again, everybody's relationship is different. My relationship with JD is different from my relationship with you. And it's just based on how we know each other and the work that we do with each other. But it's important to get the referral. Again, know who you are dealing with. Look at their social media stuff. Look at how they represent themselves. Because if they're doing some stuff that is not necessarily going to support your brand, and that's the politically correct way to say that, that may not be the person with your business. And so it's important to look at that, and then to have them do make sure they do the productivity profile, so you can see they're evenly matched in terms of what is this person going to bring to the table, and ask. Why should I hire you? How am I going to hire you? What are you going to bring to me? And so I would think that they would look at those things. Referrals.
I love how diplomatic you are, just about like, check people's brands and see if it's a compliment. I just think sometimes it's hard to see stuff through social media. And so if you have like the social media, you have the referral, you have your own conversation with that potential virtual assistant, I think that can tell you a lot. And one thing you and I have talked about, I hope I'm not revealing too much, so you can just shut it down if I am. But, I, as a client, I could pick a virtual assistant and I might not be the best client for them. And, it's not just that the assistant is great for us as a client. We have to be a good client too. And I know we've talked about like sometimes when you have to pass on clients or graciously excuse them from services. And so, a lot of people can get turned off or discouraged by that. But what would you tell them if they had to try again to work with a virtual assistant?
Listen, life is all about hitting the reset button and doing it again better the next time. So just really figure out if you've worked with someone that is not quite working out. Feedback is really important. You need to be able to have that conversation with them and give them a chance to step it up. I mean, if you've had the same conversation over and over again and they're not getting it, then that may be the time. And that's why I talk about the flexibility with contracts of having that conversation. I try to, and I'm doing better with that, is to have a planning session with my clients weekly so we can know what we're doing for the following week and what marks did I hit this week, what things could I do better on this week. And that feedback part is important so that you're not working with someone for weeks and they're not doing what you're paying them to do. You're wasting your money and you're wasting each other's time. So it's okay to hit reset and do it over if you need to. But at least have the conversation of saying, hey, that is not what I had in mind when you started posting all that random stuff, or I gave you this document for you to proofread and I'm still looking at it and it's got issues in it.
Okay. Is that my internet? What's going on with the internet? Jemina, are you frozen? Are you unfrozen? I don't know. I'm in Silicon Valley. Our internet has been so weird this week, and with remote learning, it went out earlier this week for like a whole hour, and my son was like, class, and I was like, oh, whatever, come sit on the couch with me. So I keep seeing this wheel. I don't know if you all are seeing the same wheel that I'm seeing, but oh no, Jamina's frozen. At least she's frozen for me. So, okay, so I was going to think about, just throw them out. Oh, shoot. It must have been the internet. But one of the things I wanted to point out, and I hope Jemina jumps back on. One of the things I wanted to point out, and Jemina said earlier about, here we go. There she is. There she is. Oh my gosh, this internet right now. One thing I talked about for my clients in getting started with productivity, there you are, yay, is...
Thank you, cell phone services.
Oh, no, honey. I would say, I thought it was my internet because, earlier this week, it went out for a whole hour when my son was trying to do remote learning, and he was freaking out. And I'm like, just come sit on the couch with me. Like, take it on down.
To Wi-Fi on some device to keep the children at bay. So apologies for that.
Oh, all good, honey. One thing I was saying is that when you had mentioned about going over doing a planning session for the whole week and all of that. And I know a lot of people, when they start thinking about the beginning of the week, is like, I want to get everything done. And, there's only so many hours. And I'm always encouraging people to try out the Ivy Lee method. Ivy Lee is a person, and this is like on the easy level of productivity. And all it involves is, at the end of each day, so maybe it was the end of Friday, because it was the weekend, you write down the 6 most important things you need to do for the next week, or if it's the middle of the week, what you need to do the next day, and then rank them in order of importance from important to least important. And then when the next day arrives, or when Monday arrives, you can direct your focus to the things that are in the top priority space. And then you just keep moving down the list. And then at the end of the day, you redo the list of 6. And I was going to say, before we got cut off, is that's been super helpful for me in communicating with you, just because, a lot of times, as a creative brain, I have so many ideas and I want to do everything at once. And it's just really nice to have someone help pace me with things because, I don't want to burn out as an entrepreneur. I don't want to just be churning out things for the sake of things. I want it to be high quality. I want it to be excellent. I want it to be bold. And so, when people think about productivity and time management, they often think they're the exact same things, like they're synonymous. And I'm always explaining they're not exactly the same things, but they're related. So, how do you help your clients understand the difference between productivity and time management? You can't hear me? Oh no. Oh, oh, technology. Yeah. Do you want up? She left again. See, this is the flexibility piece and everything's good. I'm going to try her on. Let's see if I can get her on this other one. Oh, I hope she's not feeling upset because I'm not feeling upset. It's Saturday, y'all. It's a relaxed day. Oh, you can hear? I couldn't hear her. Can you guys hear me?
I'm not upset. I'm just, it's like,
Oh, good.
the
Okay, good.
last interview has to be this, right?
This is just testing people's attention spans, okay? But
So
yeah.
that's part of the question you said.
Yeah, so I was just saying, like, when people are coming to you and they always think that productivity and time management are exactly the same thing, when they're not, they're related. How do you help your clients understand that?
So time management is, when I think about time management, I think about your schedule, your list of things to do, and productivity is how well you manage those things. So how are you spending your day? So you look at your schedule and you've got these things to do, and productivity is how well you're like checking those boxes, scratching those things off of the to-do list. And so they're related, but they're not the same thing. And you have to have, a pretty good grasp on both, because you can have a list. You can have your to-do list, and if you're not tackling those things on there, you're not being productive.
And I just want to emphasize to everybody, you'll see people out there getting things done. It looks great. Like somebody had inboxed me or DM'd me about this series earlier this week, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I just love the high quality and how organized and how everything's looking." And I was like, "Thank you so much. I will let my assistant know your feedback." I always want people to know that I'm not doing everything by myself. I couldn't do it at this level by myself and keep my job part-time. That is my goal, to have my job be part-time, even though I am executing at a full-time, I don't know, space or whatever, but I'm working part-time hours because that's the design I wanted for my family and work-life harmony. So I think it's really important when people are working with assistants and they have some level of help that we talk about that, because we see people doing amazing things and you just see that exterior of that they are getting it done, and there are people helping. There are people helping me all the time. And I think it's so important to give yourself permission to ask for that help. I work with a lot of high achieving women, and you got that superwoman kind of like mentality, which you are superwoman, but superwoman can get help. We deserve it. And we want to have a holistic view of our overall wellness. And I just think an assistant of some sort, but in my case and other small business owners or people who are launching, a virtual assistant can just make you excited to wake up and face the next day of fun challenges or ways of leveling up and, putting your boldness out there.
Sure. You have to give yourself permission, super women, to take the cape off. Tend to the cape, but take care of yourself too. And if that means getting some assistance, that's what it means. I've used for the first time Instacart. It's amazing. I almost had a full meltdown when I decided to go to the grocery store today. And they're assistants. They're people that you're paying to do something for you. So for me, that helps me not spend 3 hours at the grocery store, because I'm that person that goes to 4 different stores. Somebody else can do it for me. And I felt bad about doing it. I'm like, I'm a mother. I should go get my family groceries. And I'm like, no, there's somebody that can do that. And it doesn't have to be me. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So tell us, how we can learn more about you or connect with you and, what you're offering or anything coming up.
So you can connect with me by following me at Virtually Talented LLC. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Also, you can email me if you want to. If you're not really sure if a virtual assistant is going to work for you, for the next week, I will be doing free consults for people. The first 3 that sign up for a consult with me, I'll help them figure out, if not necessarily me as your assistant, but if an assistant can help you maximize your business potential. And so that is about it. You can email me, virtuallytalentedllc@outlook.com as well. If you want to also get in touch with me, you can inbox me and we can have that conversation. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Jamina, thank you so much. I think one thing I was really excited about today is just hearing um, you as the person who supports people, just really outline how, you know, scary it does not have to be to get the help, to receive the help, to, you know, navigate the help. Because a lot of times it's just like, oh, if I get one more person on board with me, that's just more work than I can deal with. And it doesn't have to be like that. I mean, I would have to say, you know, it probably took us a good week and a half to 2 weeks to really get into our groove. I think that's a good investment of time to get going and get
Mm-hmm.
things moving. So, you know, if someone can dedicate, you know, 10 to 14 days to really get somebody on board in a specific and high performing way, it's worth it.
It
I
is
mean,
worth it,
people,
and it's for your health, your well-being as well. I
yeah.
mean, do yourself
Yeah, more time for me to
ask for
close my
me.
rings on my Apple Watch.
Right, right. Kanisha, we can't be done. I didn't get my 3 questions.
What
I
three
didn't get my
questions?
that your other interviewees got.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I'm like, what
I want
happened?
my questions. I've been looking forward to
Thank you.
them.
Thank you. I need help remembering. Okay, so here were the 3 questions I was asking other people, and for you specifically, Jamina, and anybody who's listening, and you can write your comments into. I asked, what are the first 3 things you want to do when we're all allowed to be out safely? You know, what are the top 3 things you want to do? The first three
First,
things.
my first thing is a vacation with my husband. We have been sheltering in place, and these children are all over the place, and we need some alone time together. So vacation is the first thing. The second thing, I miss my mommy, so I want to
Yeah.
go visit. I've been encouraging her to stay away from us. So the second thing is to visit with my mom, and the third thing is to be able to go and get a legit massage and have a spa day. So those are my 3 things.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. You deserve that. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed that we can safely do all those things very soon.
Very
And if
soon,
not, we'll
yes,
get creative up until that point.
for
So we can
sure.
stay in. So we can stay in until we're safe.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I want to just thank everybody who has tuned in to all 9 of our interviews. They've been so fun for me. I've learned so much, and I appreciate all the feedback and comment. And our experts have been so excellent. And if you've missed any of the interviews, they're going to be going up on my YouTube channel. I have a great assistant who's going to help me with some things so we can get all that up so people can come check out that information. So don't have any FOMO. We don't do that around here. That information will be available to you. And then in a week, I'll talk about this on Monday. What's Monday? On the 18th. On the 18th, I'm sending out my newsletter to all the subscribers to my newsletter, talking about our upcoming 5-day program challenge around burnout, beyond burnout for high achieving women. So it was really great to have this week of wellness so we can really do some self analysis and some introspection. And then I'm going to talk about one of the things that really plagues bold and high achieving women, which is burnout. So there'll be some options to join us on different levels, whatever fits your schedule, whatever fits your budget, and whatever fits your time. So if you're not subscribed to the Bold Living Today newsletter, if you look in my bio on Instagram, the information is there, or you can just go to my website, boldlivingtoday.com, and sign up there. We send out a newsletter a couple of times, like 1 to 2 times per week, depending on what's going on. And there's always some fun things for you to do, like a printable or some reflection or some tips and tools. So I hope you subscribe, and I hope you join us for that Beyond Burnout for High Achieving Women challenge that's coming up in a week's time. So thank you, everybody. Jemina, I hope you're having a great weekend. Oh, thank you,
Everybody,
Suzette. Thanks for joining. She said great conversation.
she's on the client list. Yay!
Oh,
Thanks.
hey, hey, hey. Woo, woo. Clients.
Thank you for joining, everybody. Y'all have a great weekend. Do something selfish and take care of yourself.
All
Talk to you
right.
soon.
All right. Get in touch with Jemina. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.